In this video, I'm going to share with you the fastest way to a 10k months in property, barring none. And this strategy, what I'm going to share with you today, is what took me from doing 5 deals in my first 5 years to doing nearly 50 deals in a 2-year period. So I'm a remote property investor, and I made 4 fundamental changes in my business to drive it forward at a faster pace. Number 1 was educating myself. Number 2 was using the BRR strategy. Number 3 was deal sourcing, and number 4 was documenting my journey on social media. We're going to talk about the deal sourcing. Deal sourcing mixed with them other 4 shot me off at a pace like I hadn't seen before. 5 deals in 5 years, nearly 50 in 2. So with deal sourcing though, you might be thinking, I don't want to be a deal sourcer. That's a full-on business, which it is. But there's 3 different types of deal sourcer. You think of it like this is the deal sourcing delta matrix. And at the bottom, what you've got is side hustle deal sourcer. You've then got above that, you've got portfolio builder. And then you've got, which is arbitrage. So let me explain these out and then explain the ones that's best for you. Listen, you can do this in as little as 15 minutes per day if you want to be a side hustle deal sourcer. Side hustle deal sourcer is not going to get you 10k months in most cases, but it probably could get you between £900 and £1,700 per month. So let's put that next to there. And for as little as around 15 to 30 minutes per day. So time you put into this is 15 minutes to 30 minutes per day. And the consistency and regularity of that is more important. We're going to come back to that, so hang around and I'll show you how that works and how you structure out your day to do that. Portfolio builder, a lot more intensive. Portfolio builder is when you build the portfolios for them. Full on, but this is where you can hit 10k months. So when I was doing around 50 deals in around 2-year period, we was doing about 2 or 3 deals per month, roughly 1 for myself and nearly 1 or 2 for the investors. And what happened is with this is where you're going to hit your like 10k months doing this. It is much more time consuming. You are going to need to probably carve out, it goes up and down because when you've got refurb on, it's going to take a lot more of your time. When you're sourcing the next deal and you're not got refurb on, it's not going to take up as much time. But if you do this consistently, you're going to always have refurbs on. So this is probably going to take up more like sort of 2 to 5 hours of your day. So it's much more intensive but much more lucrative. You can't get the rewards without the efforts, unfortunately. I'm not going to show you 3 simple steps to financial freedom where you're sitting on a beach drinking Havanas or Mutais, whatever, smoking Havanas, not drinking them, and drinking a Mutai. Arbitrage at the top here is when you build a big online audience. So if you build a big following, a big email list, and what happens is you find over here an investor who's smiling but they can't find a deal, and then you match them to, introduce them to kind of things like an introductory fee that you're going to get this to. You introduce them to another deal sourcer that hasn't got enough investors but it's got lots of deals, and what happens is you then take a commission out from this, which is typically 50% of it. Most deals get sold for around 5k, so you get about a 2.5k commission. So have a watch of this video of the Fontaine brothers. They're doing this perfectly. I spent a day in the life with them, so watch that video, see them. They're doing probably 5 to 10 deals per month and getting a commission, and they're not speaking to solicitors, brokers, builders. They're just matching this person with this person and taking commission. That is a great place to be, but it takes the longest to get there because you've got to build out your online profile. The Fontaines have got over 250,000, maybe 300,000 followers, so they're able to do this. But there's nothing to stop you from doing a bit of all 3. So me and my business, what I've done is I left loads of money on the table by not being a side hustle deal sourcer. Side hustle deal source is when you sell the deal on, like you find a deal and the investor sells it for you. So what happened in my area, if you know Teesside, there's an area called TS1. It's near the university. I had no desire to be a HMO student landlord. So I used to buy I buy single let family homes. Do buy the odd HMO, but not student ones. So because it wasn't my cup of tea, and because single lets don't work in the area, the demographics doesn't work, every time an agent would send me a deal, I would just say, no, I'm not interested because it doesn't work as a single let and I don't want to be a HMO student landlord. Guess what? If I had just partnered with somebody in my area, which I know loads of them, I said to them, hey, I've got an off-market deal. Somebody sent it, one of my agents sent it to me. Do you want to go halves on it? I would have earned probably an extra, I would say 5 to 10k per month by just being a side hustle deal sourcer with the volume we was doing. But let's tell you how we get that volume. Let's tell you how I was getting that pipeline. There is a formula behind it. You can spend as little as 15 minutes per day, but you're not going to get the results of here. So it's up to you. Just look at where you are in your journey. Say, is it realistic? Do I want to take on? This is much more pressure dealing with builders, solicitors, investors, but it's much more rewarding. You can't get the rewards without the efforts. So let's have a look at the way you do this. It all starts with your pipeline. So imagine, if you want to build your own portfolio, by the way, this is the greatest way. So the money I was earning per month, I was directly taking into building my own portfolio. Then it's attracting more investors, it was attracting more JV partners, and it helped me build. So out of them 50 properties, I bought about 20 for myself and around 30 for investors. And you can see how this can take momentum. Biggest mistake I've done is starting a refurbishment business and a lettings business. And I went from being super profitable to losing around 20 to 30K per year for about a 4-year period. It was painful, but that's a subject for another day. I thought I was Richard Branson. I thought I was going to grow these group of companies, growth management, growth refurbishment, growth lettings. It was a dream. I learned from it though. You either earn or you learn, and I learned a lot, and it took me a lot of years to resettle that. I should have stuck with sourcing and building my own portfolio. I'd have a triple the size portfolio now, but I've still got a decent portfolio. We still buy. I've got massive experience from it. But let's get back to how we find that. The key to doing this and building your own portfolio is by building a pipeline. So imagine your pipeline like this. You've got a tap. You want to turn that pipeline on. So you turn it this way. This is on. This is your pipeline on. If you turn the tap this way, this is your pipeline stopped or off, whatever way you want to say that. So the idea behind this is you want to build a pipeline like this. So imagine your pipeline. Very rarely, look, I do direct to vendor marketing. We do all the different marketing to find properties, but the reality is 90%, let me put this in a color over here, so to just emphasize this, 90% of property transactions every single year, on average 90%, not an exact figure, gets done via an estate agent. So no matter how good your direct to vendor marketing is, you're marketing to 10% of people left over. So this is your D to V marketing. So if you only market D to V and you've got 10% of people left over, do you think you're going to lose deals? Absolutely. I'm not saying don't market to this 10%, but also try to get some of this 90%. You're going to get a lot more deals. And if you can get on with agents and build the relationship with agents, they will start sending you deals off market as well, and they'll be your direct to vendor marketer. If we're saying 90% of deals get done before they hit the market, think of this. Week 1, when a deal comes to the market. So let's have these down here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are your weeks down here. When a property hits the market on week 1, what happens is estate agents do this little thing. It's called overvaluing to get the instruction. So week 1, if the property, even if the agent thinks we'll probably sell this property for around 100K, what I say to him is, yeah, we believe we'll get about 105, 110K for it. So week 1, and I'm experienced at the moment, I've got a car for sale. I've looked on Auto Trader, it says your car can sell for around £6,000. So guess what? I put it on for £6,000. Week 1, I didn't get nobody interested in it, so I dropped the price. Week 2, dropped the price again. I'm right on the ULIS thing, it's an old diesel, so not so many people are interested. Same method with property. So week 1, if you've got agents telling you I can sell it for 105, 110, but realistically, you'll look at this. Okay, the comparables, the comp on this is maybe 110. Okay, and they want 105 for it, and you need to spend 5K on the refurb. It doesn't stack. But what you don't want to do is go in and pee them off by giving them a low offer. And as I said, most people will go to the agent, tell them the higher price and see if they can get that week 1. So most people are not motivated week 1. This 10% of people over here are the motivated sellers. The rest of the people are not motivated sellers. So again, yes, market to motivated sellers, but the reality is you will run out of motivated sellers. So you have to adopt this strategy. I've got more deals by than any other method. So if they want 110 or they've been told 110 week 1, what the agents do is after they've had it on the market for a period of time, they start going, I'm not sure why it's sticking, but yeah, maybe reduce the price. And it's a known common thing that agents do, overvalue, but most people see free agents and go with the highest offer. So week 1, what you don't want to do is go straight in and say to them, okay, it only works for me at 70K, cheeky offer 70K. You offend them. Somebody asked to buy one of my tenants said, could my brother-in-law buy your home? So I don't really sell homes, but if he offers me the right price, yes. Don't offer me a cheeky offer though, please. I told them, don't offer me a cheeky offer. It's got to be the right price. The property's worth about 80K. They're coming offering me 47. So straight away, I was like, even if you offer me 80K today now, it just annoyed me. And so that will happen to people. So what happens week 1, you do not want cheeky bids. What you want to do is do your numbers numbers on it and say, okay, I'd probably pay 70, 80K for it. So you say it to the agent, you say, look, I'm only, let's put this down here so you can see it. I could only probably pay about 70K because I've only spotted comparables at around 110. And I know it needs about 10K's worth of work doing to it. So realistically, it's not going to work for me. I need to have an uplift on there. So I need to pay maybe 70, 80K. So you want to pay for 80. You've anchored them at 70 here. The next thing you do is say, I'm not going to offer it, embarrassing them. If the agent or even the vendor goes, well, give it a try, you offer. You've been given permission. But what you've done is you've planted a seed. You planted your anchor on your seed. This is called anchoring. If you read the book, Never Split the Difference, this is, I don't know if that's a good anchor, but this is your anchor. You've planted that in. So then your next job from there is, most of the time people say no, they want to see how the market sits first of all, is what you do then is roughly every week to every other week, not all the same again, you go back to them. You ask them about other deals and you say, how are you getting on with that? If it's a direct to vendor one, you say, okay, we can't buy it for these reasons, but good luck with it. I suggest that you do this and this to the property, try and get maximum price because you're going to struggle. But if you sell it, good luck. What I'll do is I'll keep in contact, and if you don't have any success, you know we're here. I'll just keep touching base. So once a week to once every 2 weeks, you touch base. Hey, how's it going? How you getting on with that? Usually once somebody's had something on the market for about 8 weeks, that's when the motivation shifts. So up here, they're not motivated. When they get down to here, this is when they're starting to get motivated. So if you've touched base all the way along down to this, guess who's in mind when they start thinking of a reduction? You. And guess what? You've anchored them to this price here. So when they start thinking of a reduction, you're the person on their mind because you touch base. You give lots of reciprocity because you give them advice about how you think they could sell the property, what to do. Now the motivation's shifting. I had a car trader try bidding me on my car, and he offered me a low price. Now I'm still not selling it. My motivation's shifting. I'm thinking, should I just take this guy's low offer? This is how the human psychology works. If you build a pipeline like this, this is what's going to get you results. Like, the reality is, this is why you need to put in minimum 15 minutes per day up here. So where do we have this? This 15 minutes per day. You need to put a minimum 15 minutes per day into this. So you spend a day, 15 minutes one day, like looking for deals. The next day, you spend 15 minutes phoning agents, negotiating with them. The next day after that, you then speak to your side hustle deal sources or your investors. You start planting these seeds and you start seeing where you are, but you have to build this pipeline. And then the day after that, you put it on your proposals and stuff like that. And the fifth day, you start documenting what you're doing so you get more investors for yourself, so you don't have to be a side hustle deal sourcer. So if you do that for 15 minutes per day, you will get these deals, and you've got to keep this pipeline going, because the reality is, if you inbound up here, let's try and find a space for this, but if you inbound, let's do this up here, if you inbound 5 to 10 deals per week, and you inbound these into this pipeline here, the reality is by the time you get down to week 8, there's maybe 0 to 1 deal left. So the last thing you want to do is, every time you want to buy a property, is risk that getting sold in between and then having to start from week 1 again. Sometimes you luck out and get a deal on week 1, 2 or 3, but often you've got to keep that pipeline going. If you keep that pipeline consistently each week, inbounding these deals, by the time you get into this space, sometimes it takes 2 months, 3 months. A deal falls out of bed, it comes back to you. But you create a pipeline and then sell them on. And then the money you get from selling them on, you start putting that back into your assets and building your own portfolio. Different ways to build your portfolio, whether you're going to go into HMO, single lets, social housing, essays. Watch this video here, because this will help you identify the best strategy that's suited to you. But listen, if you're still here, make sure you smash that like button and that subscribe button. It really does help the channel. My wife lives my terms. My mission is to help as many people live in their terms, giving that financial education. So please share this if you found it useful. And remember, evolve your ideas to live in your own terms.